Let's talk about this partial mobilization, General. You have background on how Russian soldiers are trained, and you say that this mobilization is jaw-dropping, but not for the reason people might think it is jaw-dropping. Explain.
Yeah, I think immediately the number of 300,000 mobilized comes to everybody's mind, and it's shocking, Don. But when you know the intricacies of taking reservists and taking them out of their civilian environment and suddenly turning them into soldiers very quickly, that's a very difficult thing to do when you have that many, especially with the shape that Russia is in right now. The first thing to consider is, where do you process those individuals? How do you get them from their civilian lives into a soldier's life? How do you give them uniforms, weapons, get them retrained? Get them integrated into units. And the units that they're integrating into have been devastated on the battlefield. So the morale is already low. So you're affecting not only the military in a very negative way by trying to insert individuals who haven't trained or been a part of a unit since the start of this war, but you're also talking about affecting the civilian society. And boy, aren't we certainly seeing that tonight with the amount of protests that are going on all over Russia. And this is one thing that I don't think Putin really considered, the blowback from the mothers and the citizens, and especially from the young men that didn't want to go.
Yeah, I think you talked about that early on, and as we were covering the war, you and other experts said that this was, once you start affecting mothers and their kids don't come back or what have you, it was going to the tides may turn when it comes to public sentiment about what's happening in the war. What does it say about how effective Russia's military will be if it's conscripting people, it's getting conscripts, and those are the people who were protesting?
Don, I can only say that this will not contribute to success. So far, the Russian military in the first 3 phases of this operations have been exceedingly unsuccessful because they have untrained soldiers, very poor leaders, terrible equipment, and a dysfunctional supply, as well as a horrible command and control architecture. So you now have an army on the battlefield that has been mauled over a period of over 210 days. Morale is low, leadership is in the toilet, and now you're going to say, hey, we're going to put new people into these units. Well, having been on the battlefield in units that are not in good shape and trying to introduce the raw recruits, even though these individuals may have been in the Russian military before, they're going to be raw recruits if they eventually report to the front lines. They are not well accepted because they have not fought with the teams that are there. The morale of the teams that are there is already poor. So it's just laying on another layer of disastrous activity